Hey guys, Pup C here. So it is another exciting week in February, and I'm going to be reviewing all the different news that has popped up this week, referencing also things that I posted on my BlueSky account. So on the BlueSky app, if you follow me, Pup C, my handle is Pup C Raw, then you'll see all these articles. You can link to them, check out the sourcing, get all the details that I kind of gloss over on this podcast. So yeah, always that's available for you guys. But I want to kick off the start of the week with some amazing microgreens that I found locally. So random, but here in Oahu, they love to support local. So local vendors, local products, just local, lots of support. And at this Nordstrom, the department store that normally sells clothing and shoes and purses, perfume, all of that stuff, they have vendors like Mr. Microgreens, and he has a business called Double Rainbow. I cannot help but think that he's seen the YouTube video Double Rainbow, and that's the inspiration for the name of his business. By the way, if you haven't seen that YouTube video Double Rainbow, you must watch. It is hilarious and amazing. So anyways, I really enjoyed these sprouts I bought, and that was just the fun start of the week for me. Super random, but hey. Now, there was lots of recipes that popped out, so I posted lots of those. One of them was like a list of lunch recipes that were supposedly ready in 10 minutes or less. Vegan lunch recipes. And it just made me think, like, how long is everyone taking to make their food? Because I cannot imagine that most people take longer than that on the regular to make their meals. Like, if you're doing it real cheap and easy, get a banana, get an apple, you're good to go. Get a yogurt, make a salad, have a peanut butter and jelly. Like, what is taking so long? I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I had this one guy who, I was at a sandwich shop, and I was with someone who was ordering a standard meat and cheesy sandwich, and then I ordered a veggie sandwich, no cheese, no meat, right? And so he's making these sandwiches, and I swear they take the same amount of time. Mine might be faster because I don't use meat and cheese. So as he's making these sandwiches, he's like, "Oh, are you vegan?" I say yes. He's like, "I used to be vegan too, but I just found that it took way too long to make my food." And I'm sitting there like, I don't even know what to say, because you're literally making the fastest sandwich for me, faster than this guy next to me who ordered meat and cheese sandwich. So like, what are you saying, sir? And so random. But I find that a lot. Like, people who give me excuses, like, this is why I'm not vegan. It really is excuses. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. What are you saying? Anyways, that's a total tangent, but this whole recipes for 10 minutes or less, vegan lunch recipes, just made me laugh. So I'm like, what is everyone doing that takes so long, guys? Like, not every meal has to be so gourmet. It's okay. Anyways, moving on to other news, if that was news at all. Now, there is a new vegan restaurant in Michigan that's opening. It's called Trap Vegan, and I love their storefront sign. It says Trap Vegan, and underneath, dope, healthy, good AF. And that just cracked me up. I'm like, yes, I love a sassy sign. Yes, yes, yes. Also, there was a video that I posted a link to that went through, I guess it's a vegan chef who does Korean meals, and she was saying these are the 3 tastiest vegan Korean meals, and I'm like, oh, okay, what do we got here? Bibimbap, yes, delicious. Tofu soy sauce rice, okay. Bibimbap, yum, yum, yum. So if you haven't seen like any Korean foods before, check them out. There's so many that are great when you veganize them. A lot of them already are vegan, and some of them you just say, oh, no meat, no egg, and there you go. It is suddenly vegan and delicious, like bibimbap. Bibimbap is like a rice dish, with lots of veggie on top, and they normally put maybe beef or egg or both, usually both, and you just ask for none of that. Yeah, no meat, please, no egg. Honestly, it's not a big deal because the restaurant saves money by not putting that on your rice, so it all works out in the end, and it's really tasty. Fun fact, I'm sure there's so many great like foods you could get at all the different restaurants, so anytime I see tasty ones, I'll post it up for you. Another bit of news that popped up a few days ago is there is a potato milk in town. And I swear you can make milk from any starch. Potatoes, nuts, oats, wheat, just if it's a starch, you can milk it. I'm telling you, it's so easy. But I saw this little milk brand. It's so cute. It's called Doug. D-U-G, Doug. And so they have a few different flavors. But yeah, it's just milk made from potatoes. It's vegan. It's so cute. I like their packaging. Also, I'm sure if anyone's checked out the news this week for veganist, anything vegan related, they could not have missed that a vegan restaurant for the first time in the UK and Ireland received a Michelin star. So heck yes, big hats off to Plates. The name of this restaurant is Plates. They're in London and they just got a Michelin star. So that is so exciting for them. I'm sure they're going to be blowing up. Lots of people there. I've already seen like a million articles of people who are like, I just ate at this new Michelin star restaurant. It's vegan. So already people are flooding them, putting out great press. I love it. More news. All right, so the global plant-based food market expanded from $25 billion in 2023 to $27.8 billion in 2024. It's not as huge of growth that we've been seeing in years prior. It's like a slowdown in growth, but the vegan market is still growing. It's like not stopping whatsoever. And this article kind of goes through the reasons why they think there's a bit of a slowdown, not a stop, but like a slowdown in the dynamic growth it's seen, mostly because there's so many different types of products and people are really like trying and exploring and discovering what their favorite is. So it's going to sort itself out. I'm sure all the favorite products that are vegan are going to rise to the top. Some others might fall away if they're not as popular, and then the focus will be on those that have made it. By the way, there was an article on vegan yogurts, and the king of vegan yogurts is no other than coconut. I'm sure nobody is surprised, especially if you've been looking at TikTok, because there was that big TikTok craze for coconut cult yogurt. Was it Cocoa Cult or Coconut Cult? One of those. And it was a raw vegan yogurt, lots of probiotics in there, and you're supposed to have a big old scoop of that, a big old scoop of sea moss gel to start your day. And so that was a thing. And I know that my local health food stores and Whole Foods sold out of that for a while this TikTok trend first kicked off. So that probably bumped up sales. But I'll say, hands down, my favorite vegan yogurt is a raw vegan yogurt by GT's. GT's, they're the ones who also make the kombucha. So one of the old school kombucha brands is GT's Kombucha. Same people make this yogurt. It's called Cocoyo. And I love it. I love it so much. When it's on sale, I buy so much. It's so tasty. They actually just redid their packaging too. So I noticed that this week when I was shopping at Whole Foods. So cute. Okay, changing the topic, we're going to go to a Dutch company. So there is a Dutch company called No Palm, and it's all one word, N-O-P-A-L-M, No Palm, meaning no palm oil. So it's a fermentation process they use, and it results in 90% lower carbon emissions. It requires 99% less land use compared to palm oil production. So it's a direct competitor with palm oil. It utilizes non-GMO yeast and this new fancy technology designed to achieve price parity with palm oil. So they're trying to be very competitive in the market, make it a really good price, and much better for the environment than palm oil. So that's something new and exciting coming out for vegan products to use. Another cool thing I saw was that there was a website that had just been created called foodfacts.org. So the reasoning behind it, or what started it, encouraged its existence, is social media creators like Facebook and Instagram and all that. Was it Mark Zuckerberg, right? He decided that he was going to stop using third-party fact checkers. So You can kind of just randomly say what you want on these social media sites. No one's going to fact check you. And, it's just, you could blow up with a bunch of lies and who knows. So that's the inspiration between this website called foodfacts.org. They wanted to make it so that you can't just lie and say a bunch of randomness. They actually use a lot of peer-reviewed studies to back up every claim that they make. So when it comes to anything trending in the media, if they can tell, hey, this is a lie, they're going to jump on it. And they're going to be like, you know how this is trending right now? Well, guess what? It's not true. Here's all the research that backs up what we're saying and why it's not true. And then here's what actually is accurate. So I just thought that's a cool website. And there was like an article they released, was it today or yesterday? I'll get to it. That was debunking something that's trending right now. So anyways, foodfacts.org, new exciting website. Also, I saw an anti-dairy ad. It was supposed to be screened at movie theaters in the UK first. I mean, it could go further, but it was really upsetting. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is very impactful. It was anti-dairy, so it's just trying to reach people who are not vegan, and just kind of show them what we see as vegans. Or if you're not vegan and you want to check out this ad, fantastic. Maybe it can kind of get you to see another side of things when it comes to dairy. I won't say more than that. I have a link to it. You could check it out. If you look it up, it's on plantbasednews.org or probably just YouTube, anti-dairy ad, UK first, something like that. It'll pop right up. But yeah, it's a intense little ad, gets its point across. Not too graphic. I definitely believe that graphic campaigns have their time and place, and audience, I would say more so audience. Like if you're not vegan, if you've never thought that way, it's good to know what goes on behind the curtain for industrialized animal agriculture. So that is important. But for me, for everyday life, seeing a lot of really intense graphic images of animals, it's just too soul crushing. So having something that could be impactful and jarring, but not as intense, is really nice. To me, I think all forms of getting the vegan message is great. But yeah, just for me personally, I'm not at a place where I can do the graphic stuff. I'm already a vegan. I already know what goes on. It's too crushing. Changing the subject. Let's go into something cheerful. If you like Tim Hortons, then guess what? They have cheaper vegan milks now. So they're not going to upcharge you for picking almond milk or soy milk or oat milk for your coffee or tea. So Tim Hortons, good job. Good job, Tim Hortons. Another interesting little piece of news, there was a study that kind of went and asked around to people from Britain, hey, when it comes to these common animal farming practices, what do you think? What's your opinion? So the majority of the British public totally opposes a whole range of common farming practices. They're not with it. And you just have to get them to see, like, okay, I'm glad we all agree these farming practices are bad. Industrialized animal agriculture, bad. Like, now, what's the next step, So that's the thing. I'm glad that the public is there. It was up to 96% of the British public polled. That's huge. It's just that next step, like, come on, guys. Okay, so if you don't like this, how are we going to change it? It's really easy. Just freaking buy the vegan option, guys. Just buy the vegan option. That's how. Oh my gosh. Okay, something else I posted about was there was an award-winning vegan chocolate strawberry shortcake cupcake, and I released the recipe. Yes, I shared the recipe. This cupcake won an award on the Food Network, a top award. It won a prize. So I'm like, ooh, that must be a good cupcake. If anyone wants to make some, the recipe's there. Yes. Also, the Humane Society, they've changed their name. So if you knew about Humane Society, they now go by Humane World for Animals. they say that the change, which immediately took effect, it was intended to better reflect the organization's global presence and that their mission is to combat animal cruelty. So they think that Humane World for Animals kind of conveys that message more clearly, that that's their goal. And honestly, it does. Humane Society, I don't know, it could be like, is this for humans? What's going on? What are we doing here? And then when you see Humane World for Animals, that it does, I think it's impactful. I think it's a good change in their name. All right, another switcheroo. Did anybody know that there was a YouTube show called Top Vegan? It is a cooking show, a competitive cooking show, and I am sure that they got their inspiration from Top Chef. Top Chef is a cooking show, really popular on mainstream TV, and so now there was one on YouTube called Top Vegan, and I only found out about it because there was this really random town newspaper who was like, hey, our guy, Lester Gates, he's from town here and he's competing in the finale of Top Vegan. And I'm like, excuse me? What is Top Vegan? So I found them on YouTube. I looked them up, Top Vegan. I subscribed. You could watch all their episodes for free. I'm very excited. I'm like, oh, wow, a vegan cooking show. The whole cooking show is vegan. That's so cool. And it's competitive, so it makes it really fun. Oh, my gosh. Let's see. I'm scrolling. As I talk to you guys, I'm just kind of scrolling through the week's news and articles that got posted. One other thing that was out in the news just 2 days ago, vegan cheese revenue. It is expected to grow 8.5%. Heck yes. In the next year, I think. So it has some good growth, solid growth. Honestly, I don't see any vegan markets for any vegan products going the opposite direction. It's all growth across the board. That's all I've seen. Because when I look at vegan news, I'd say like there's some negative stuff out there that I just don't need to dwell on. But I focus on the positive. But even then, like even with the negative, I've never seen anything about the markets going down for vegan products. It's only going up. There could be brands that come and go, restaurants that come and go, fads in food that come and go. But overall, the interest in vegan plant-based products is constantly going in an upward direction. So that's really encouraging. I'm really happy to see it. Love it. Heck yes. They say the main reasons for this, the study about the cheese revenue going up, vegan cheese revenue, they said the main reasons is because more people are adopting a plant-based diet and just general preference for healthier, sustainable food options. So I guess those are the key words that people kind of latch onto when they think that plant-based or vegan foods are good for purchasing. It's that they're healthier and they're sustainable. Heck yeah. I heard a week ago, it's been over a week now, that it was also about price point. So if you combine the three, like unbeatable, like, hey, vegan, plant-based, it's cheaper, it's healthier, it's more sustainable. So just kind of making that glaringly obvious to people, I guess, is helpful. Whatever works, guys, whatever works. For Valentine's Day, which was yesterday, shout out to my sweet little sister. She bought me these raw vegan chocolates. Oh my gosh. She sent me like a whole pack of these chocolate bars. So cute. So I hope that everyone out there had a great Valentine's Day. So much delicious vegan chocolate is available nowadays. Also, something so cute. I saw ASPCA post about adopting animals in need for Valentine's Day, and I can definitely get behind that. I think the greatest loves are all waiting for us at local animal shelters. So definitely adopt, don't shop. Heck yes. And also, as Bob Barker would say from Price is Right, make sure to spay and neuter your pets. So we don't have any fur babies that aren't taken care of and stuck at these adoption centers in the first place. All right, now there are blue zones. If you don't know, blue zones are places in the world where people live longer and healthier lives. There are now 3 emerging blue zones where plant-based food is prevalent And I'm sure you can probably guess what these 3 cities are, or you have a good idea. It's Los Angeles, California, Portland, Oregon, and New York City. So if you want some tasty vegan food, go on over to those cities and check it out. I'm sure you'll find something amazing. Also, speaking of little restaurants that are vegan and places to go, Mr. Charlie's, if you haven't heard of it, it's a vegan fast food restaurant, and they're introducing a new vegan vanilla ice cream called Mr. Fluffhead, which is a cute name. And it's made out of potatoes. Another potato product released this week. What can you not do with potatoes, guys? Potatoes are amazing. So this potato-based vanilla ice cream is going to be topped with Mike Tyson's signature Mike Bites chocolate ears. And it looks like a little chocolate ear with a bite taken out of it. And you know that chocolate is vegan because this is a vegan fast food place. So I think it's a limited time launch. But if you're around a Mr. Charlie's, definitely check it out. It looks super cute. And I would love to see what potato ice cream tastes like. I'm sure it tastes just like vanilla ice cream, but it just sounds so interesting. So that's happening. There have been a lot of beer byproducts being released. Last week, I heard about vegan milk and vegan leather being a great byproduct from beer production. So for distillers, they have a lot of leftover grains, spent grains that they've used, and they've turned it into vegan milk and leather. Well, this week, we have a third thing that's being created out of beer production leftovers. It's vegan protein, so more protein powder. My goodness, that's cool. People are really getting rid of waste, finding good uses for it. Heck yes. Heck yes. If you like fish, I have a little news update for you. There is 3D printed vegan fish and vegan eel. And there's been a grant for $250,000 that's been given to a company called Stakeholder Foods, who are developing this process of 3D printing vegan fish and eel. I don't think it's meat cultivation, because meat cultivation is when you take like a tiny little cell and it's the actual animal cell and you grow it in a lab. So it's not like you're killing an animal to make food. You're just taking like this one little cell and you're growing it. And it doesn't have eyes or heart or anything like that. It's just growing like a chunk of meat. And then that's cultivated meat. I think this is different. I think this is plant-based. So they're creating, like Impossible Burgers or Beyond Meat Burgers. Those are all plant-based. They're made out of plants. I think this is the same darn thing, but they're 3D printing it, and it's supposed to taste like vegan fish and eel. Well, tastes like fish and eel, but it is vegan. So I'm like, wow, we're in the future. I don't want to eat eel, vegan or not, just no thank you. But there are a lot of people out there who love their sushi, who love their eel. So heck yeah for them. It's a big win for those guys. Okay, and now finally, just yesterday, there was this new post from that website I had mentioned, foodfacts.org. So that title of this post they put out there is called "Plants Are Good for You. So why do wellness influencers call them toxic?" And then it went on to describe what people specifically were saying was toxic about vegetables, which is to me just insane. Like if someone starts talking about fruits and vegetables being bad for them, I just cannot. I cannot even entertain it. Like, just get out of here. But if you have the patience to entertain this madness, or maybe you've been convinced that maybe vegetables are bad for you for this whatever specific reason, let me tell you, this article goes on into full depth discussion on why that's not true, and specifically the things that they were bringing up, like the oxalates. They're like, oh, it's oxalate rich, it's really whatever. They just debunk everything. It's super detailed. They have multiple studies they reference which are peer reviewed, it's a lot. In fact, I have a great quote from them. It says, peer-reviewed research demonstrates that diets rich in vegetables, yada, yada, are associated with better cardiovascular health, improved metabolic markers, and reduced risk of various chronic diseases, including several forms of cancer. Yes, fruits and vegetables are good for you. So I guess, some people just get tricked or something and don't know. So I'm glad for those people that this article is there to educate them. Or you. I don't mean to sound condescending. It just is funny to me because, I don't know. I just can't imagine how people don't think fruit and vegetables good. So I apologize if you're one of those people and I'm acting very condescending. It's so shocking to me. But that's why articles like this exist, because they do want to make sure everyone is aware of how good they are. Oh my goodness. Okay, I did do a sassy post. Sometimes I just see the same kind of articles over and over and I'm like, oh my gosh. I sighed because I actually do sigh every time I see them. So this one it's one of my favorite websites, sciencealert.com, just because they post about all kinds of science updates. It's about biology, astronomy, physics, health, all kinds of things to do with science. They'll just post what's going on, the latest and greatest. So they had this post and it says, whale song reveals eerie similarities to human speech, scientists find. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, whales communicate. They can communicate like humans can communicate. Yes. So I was just saying, it's so... It's, what is it? Again, with lack of patience on my part when people are just constantly shocked and surprised that other creatures are sentient. Yeah, they communicate with each other. Yeah, they're aware. They can feel. They bleed. They have children. They love their children. You know what I mean? Like a dog that has puppies loves its puppies. A cow that has calves loves its baby calves. Yes, they have a bond, like a mother and child, like humans, mother and child. When they make those sounds, like a dog barking, that's trying to communicate. And when a dog barks to another dog, they are communicating. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so this was talking about whales and how when whales sing, it's like human speech because they can communicate, and they go on into more, but I was just like, oh my gosh, this is such a stupid article. Although again, I'm sorry, I'm really sassy today. I'm so sorry, because I'm sure it's really fascinating and interesting to some people who really think of animals as, I don't know, rocks on the ground, just an object, constantly in awe that they're alive, that they think and can do things like humans can do things. Humans are animals, guys. We're all animal species. Come on. Okay, more sassiness in 2 seconds, because the next article I'm going to talk about says 36 accidentally vegan snacks you can find at almost any grocery store. And they list a bunch. Some of the bangers that I thought people would like the most I listed, which is Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, Swedish Fish, Ritz Crackers, Pringles, the spicy sweet chili Doritos. Some people know what that is. I'm not a Doritos person. Takis. Everyone freaking loves Takis. Fritos, Skinny Pop White Cheddar, which is surprisingly vegan. Oreos, Nutter Butters, la 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 la. There was a ton of stuff. So I listed this, and a lot of people are like, oh, this is great, thank you. And there's always someone who's the ultimate vegan who's like, by the way, these actually aren't vegan because, and I'm like, are you going to mention sugar? I just know it. I just know you're going to mention sugar. And they're like, because of sugar. Because the mainstream sugar that's used is refined with animal bone char. That's a fact. That is true. So when I think of veganism, there's actually, here, I'm going to do a quote from another article and tie it all together. Because another article from yesterday says, even one person's food choices affect the whole planet. And a great quote is, veganism is an upstream effort to shrink the size of the animal agriculture industry by reducing demand for its products. Okay, then it goes on. But that is exactly it. Veganism is an upstream, a tough effort to shrink the size of the animal agricultural industry. By how? By reducing demand for its products. Okay, so going back to this whole thing about the accidentally vegan items and how some people say they're not vegan because of sugar and how sugar, whatever, yada, yada. So, if people just did anything to consider other creatures in harm when they're buying something, they're like, hey, you know what? I think I can give up red meat. You know what? Because I love cows, whatever. Or I'm going to give up pork because I love pigs. I love chickens. I won't eat chickens. You know, I'm going to give up all the meat except I love cheese so much I have to eat cheese. Whatever. If you're giving up some animal product, I know that makes a difference. I know it does. And if the entire world said, guess what? We're going to stop eating meat altogether, you know, and maybe we'll all just still have eggs and dairy, like everyone's vegetarian. It would bring the meat industry to a crashing halt. It would dramatically impact, you know, these animals. Like, that would have a massive impact. Yes, it's still horrific what happens to dairy cows and chickens, and that is something to work on. But all I'm trying to say is that if someone is making some kind of effort to do better, like, I say go all in and support them. Be like, heck yes, you got this. Because if you do that, you might move on to something else, you know, and if not, you still are making a difference. So if someone is like against all meat, all dairy, all fish, all eggs, no leather, not going to zoos, not going to you know, they're just like as vegan as they can possibly be. And then they get some Sour Patch Kids. That thing has sugar with bone char. Like, bone char is like this byproduct from the animal industrial agriculture business. I'm sure my brain is turning to mush just talking about this, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that is like ultimate level vegan. And when I first started going vegan, I had people say that kind of stuff to me, and I was just trying to be the best, the most ultimate vegan. But then if you learn about what actually uses animal products, it's everything, guys. Like I had mentioned before, the tires in your car. Okay, I'm not going to drive a car. Great. Are you going to ride a bike? Are you going to take a bus? Is someone going to give you a ride? Because I don't think you're going to walk everywhere, especially if you live in the United States of America. That is almost impossible unless you're in a lucky select number of cities. But mostly it's impossible. You have to take transportation somehow. And the tires uses animal product in them. Like, that is a thing. Do you write on paper? Do you have pamphlets? Do you have textbooks? Do you have notepads you write on? Like paper? Guess what, guys? The glue that binds the paper together has animal product in it. It's just, we live in a sick, sad world, and the animal products are all around us. And it's almost impossible to just take yourself out of this modern world, but you can make big changes within it, you know, doing the obvious things, being vegan and not worrying about other little things. Now, if you don't want to eat these because of the refined sugar that you know uses bone char, and you're only going to eat products that has vegan sugar, or make your own food that only uses vegan sugar or no sugar, heck yes, fireworks, go you. Amazing. I myself am doing raw vegan, so I love, but all I'm saying is that let's not knock people who are just trying to be vegan for the first time, and all this information is so overwhelming. I don't want anyone to be defeated. Let's celebrate every step towards veganism, every step against cruelty. Let's celebrate it. Let's, you know, and we can always share this information, you know, be like, oh, by the way, these do have, you know, refined sugar in it. So you want to be aware, you know, if you care about that, if you can buy things that don't have the refined sugar that uses bone char, awesome. Great. But sorry, I went on this tangent for too long. I have too many feelings about this subject. I apologize. We're going to move the hell on right now, and talk about Disneyland. So, Disneyland apparently has a lot of vegan bangers. They have so much tasty vegan food, Mickey Mouse pretzel, I am here for. I love me a big soft pretzel. That baby's vegan. Also, their restaurant, the Blue Bayou, which you definitely need to make reservations for, they have so much amazing vegan food. They had this really tasty looking sunchoke and pistachio pesto pasta. They had a vegan creme brulee. I'm like, what the heck? This is great. They have a little restaurant in Disneyland called the Taqueria Brand, and that place has a veggie burrito that looks amazing. They had veggie tacos and nachos too, but that veggie burrito caught my attention. Like all attention, all eyes on that burrito. So it's a whole list that I posted of amazing vegan food at Disneyland, and I was honestly surprised that there was so much. I'm like, that's great. Heck yeah. Now, of course, I had to mention the egg situation. Yesterday, there were so many articles, and I think a lot of these articles just copy and paste somebody's work because a lot of them have the same text, but they're from completely different news sources. It's weird. Anyways, so they have articles that were popping out yesterday about surging egg prices and egg shortages in the US and how it's been a big opportunity for vegan substitutes. And actually, Just Eggs, it's that liquid egg that's made out of mung bean that you see everywhere. That's amazing. Their sales in January jumped by 5 times from January last year. So their sales were 5 times better this January than last January. And they do attribute it a lot to the big egg prices and egg shortages. Although in general, plant-based has gotten a lot bigger, but I think the egg situation is helping. And honestly, we might change some hearts and minds by having people experiment with, egg alternatives because they can't access or afford eggs right now. And maybe they're just going to stay that way. Here's hoping, guys. I'm sure that some people will. Something funny that I heard is Japan, they have an airway. It's called All Nippon Airways. And apparently their first class and their business class will start getting vegan ramen service March 1st. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. But how about for the peasant class? Like, if you can't be in first class or business, please, can we have some vegan ramen too? But you know what? It starts with the top. So I'm glad that it's out there, and maybe it'll work its way down to the regular economy class. That would be awesome. But heck yeah, vegan ramen in the skies. Lastly, I will close with a few things from today. There was like 3 little posts this Saturday today. One of them was that there was a winner for best dark chocolate in the world, and that was a vegan brand from Norway. So heck yeah, I love to see a winning vegan brand. Also, oat milk is now available powdered. I think it's coming to Whole Foods. They bought in from a brand that made powdered oat milk. It was supposed to be like make milk at home, really easy. Just mix this powder with water, and now you have your own milk ready whenever you want it, And I was like, you can make your own vegan milk. It might be a pain in the butt. It's easier said than done, right? But if you wanted to, guys, all you do is you take like your favorite nuts, you put them in a high-speed blender like a Vitamix, you add a lot of water, way more water than the nuts. You blend it up, maybe a pinch of salt, maybe a couple dates, blend it up, make it super blendy, and then you can strain it with a strainer. They have these they're called nut bags. They are, I'm not lying, it's called a nut bag. And you pour your milk into it, and it strains it out really nicely, so it just makes it silky, creamy milk. And so you can use any nuts. I love raw nuts, right? So I'll use soaked raw almonds, soaked raw walnuts, pecans, hazelnuts, anything. You just whatever nuts you want. You just put them in that little high-speed blender, lots of water, blend those babies up. I do suggest adding a pinch of salt, and I do suggest some sweetness, like maybe a little maple syrup, maybe a couple dates, something, just a little bit, not a lot, unless you like it sweet, and blend that stuff up. It's going to be delicious, and it's so easy to do. Anyways, that's my tangent on vegan milks. We have finally come to the last article I posted this week, which was about vegan leather. So the vegan global leather market was valued at $60.4 million last year, or 2 years ago, 2023. And it's projected to bump up to 131.7 million. So that's more than double by 2023. So in less than 10 years, the vegan leather market across the globe is going to double in projected revenue. So that's amazing. And a lot of people will immediately say, vegan leather's plastic. I can see so much about that. We hate vegan leather. It's all plastic. It's polyurethane. Well, guess what? This is talking specifically about other materials like apple peels and cactus leaves and so many, many more vegan materials. Like I just mentioned, they're making freaking vegan leather out of beer production leftovers. I mean, it's very interesting, all the things you can make vegan leather out of. But yeah, that market is set to explode. So heck yes, lots of vegan leather options. And I just see a beautiful vegan future, guys. So this is kind of long. This is a long podcast today, it seems. I'll end it here, but I hope you all are doing well. I'll keep posting on my BlueSky account, so if you want to check out the latest, I always post daily there. And until next week, bye guys!